What's going on out there in the land of YouTube? How's everybody doing today? I just wanted to, let me make sure my Bluetooth is off. It is off. So, you know, I was just at the store, and what I'm seeing is they're trying, and here's what's happening. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Everybody do me a favor, hit the like button. Just take a second, whether you're watching this next week, next month, or next year, and hit the like button. It'll only take a second. But if you hit that like button, then more people will get to see the video and it will share, and it's a great big competition. It's a great big competition. Everybody's competing with one another. And it's a very strange existence. You know, I was at the store just now, and oh, you stupid. What are you, stupid? Like, how stupid are you? Like, you're just a stupid person. What an idiot. So, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. I can't really see very well because number one, it's kind of sunny, and then number two, I'm blind. So those two things have a big effect on being able to read words on a screen as I here. So if you guys would just take a second and hit the like button. It's a little thumbs up icon. It's right here. It's right down there at the bottom. If you're watching on your phone, you got to close your live chat and then you hit the like button. So I'm driving down the road here, and if I see a copper, then I will pull over, we'll audit that copper. That's what I'll do. I think I saw a member or a super chat come through, but I literally can see very little. I can see very little. So anyway, I was just at the store trying to price us out of an existence. It doesn't matter if it's deodorant or apples. It doesn't matter if it's an auto part or something for your kitchen. It doesn't matter what it is. They've created a system here in the United States that only works if you have a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, I know I'm struggling right now, so I don't have a lot of money. I don't come from a lot of money. And actually, that's not true. My Colombian side was multimillionaire, and long story there. But currently, I don't come from a lot of money. And so when I was just at the grocery store just now, I was at a CVS or a Walmart or something. I realized that what's happening to the people, to us people, is they are trying to price us out of a livable existence. That's what's happening right now. They're trying to price us out of being able to live any kind of decent life. So they have us fighting about everything. You can wear braids, you can't wear braids. That's cultural appropriation, which, as you guys know, if you follow this channel, cultural appropriation is bullshit. There's absolutely no way a society can ever meld together if different races are saying, well, this is our thing, and so you can't use it. Well, no, this is our thing, so you can't use it. It'll never work. It'll never work. So I believe cultural appropriation is a great big pile of dog poo. Now, don't get me wrong. White Europeans have culturally appropriated almost everybody's culture, because white Europeans, going all the way back to the 1455 palpable in Spain, for the dunce caps who don't know history, if you ignore the palpable from 1455, then you are a blithering moron and you really know nothing about the basis of all history. It's listening to people try to degrade or diminish the amount of knowledge that this old brain right here carries. If you don't understand, so I want you guys to look it up. It's called the palpable, P-A-P-A-E-L, palpable, and it's I believe it's Pope. I want to say it's Pope Nicholas the 5th or the 9th. It's a very important part of history, where the Spanish Pope made an announcement where he said, this is what he said. He said that you can go out into the world and explore it as a Spanish explorer, and you can conquer any lands and the inhabitants. So in other words, the people who own that land, the people who live in that. I mean, own is a new term from the social contract that was going to be I believe Thomas Hobbes is going to, you're going to get the greed and the property ownership, though, from Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract, because then you're going to start to establish this thing called private property. And as soon as private property begins to establish, you're going to create a class system. And the way you create a class system is you say these people have and these people have not. And so what you end up with, people who have land, who have property, what they end up doing is, of course, working what you have is you have raw materials, the dirt, the minerals, the soil, the water, the oil. So people who have property, then you're going to have people, because they have property, you need people to work on the property. So people will work on that property, and then they get some money from the people who have property and have wealth. And so if you go back to the beginning, the way that this country was set up, the way this country was founded on the principle of private property. So a lot of people, they'll say, down with capitalism, let's get rid of capitalism. It's impossible. The die has been cast. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. It won't work. So once you've established that there is this thing called private property, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau writes about this in his book called The Social Contract, which is about as big as my pinky. You can read it in 2 or 3 days. So as soon as you have private property, you're going to have people who have and people who don't have. So then you're going to create a class system, and just from this basic ideology that I'm sharing with you now, you'll start to understand how that class system is formed. The way it's formed is, if I have property, then you may work for me, and then you get a status by being the top worker, or now they call it the general manager. But there's so many different ways, and once you become the general manager of the person who has, then the person underneath of you who works under you, because you get your orders from me because I own the property. So you're my number one person. So, and back then it was men. So you're my number one guy. So then I tell you what to do, and then you tell other people. Now naturally, what's going to happen? That's going to create a class system. And then there's going to be people who don't work for the property at all, but they hang around outside of the property because there's wealth coming out of the property. People are leaving there with paychecks. They have money. People are leaving there with goods. They've traded and bartered for goods inside that property. So as soon as you establish private property, and this is going to be Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract, this is where the idea that we're going to have private property comes from. This is the beginning of what you would call capitalism. So now what's happened is, if you can kind of take that, if you can kind of take that tiny little nugget of information that you got and just leave it as, I'm the property owner, and then I hire DLZ Clips. So DLZ Clips is my number one guy. He works for me, and then he hires other people. So now DLZ Clips is a little bit higher than other people. Thanks for the super chat. I can't see the name. I'm sorry, but thank you. I'll look back when I can see. I can just see the different color thing. But so now DLZ Clips has a status, and he's a higher in the class system because he's higher than you on the property. All capitalism is based on private property. So now, if you understand that basic concept, we can move on to the next thing that I want to talk about here. So now, capitalism came through private property. That's where capitalism comes from. The whole idea of I have and you don't have is from private property. So now, as we fast forward here today, 2023, what's going on? What's happening? How come we go to the grocery store and the deodorant that I bought was $8? Why was my deodorant $8 today? This stuff I used to, no, Charlie, you gotta sit over there. You gotta sit over there. Wait till I get off I can't drive and hold you. Let me lay over there, buddy. So So this deodorant is $8.50, $9 or whatever it was today, which is pretty ridiculous. That's a lot of money for deodorant. I used to buy this deodorant for $2 or $3. You know, I've always bought my stuff, so I pay attention to prices because I'm just a regular human being. I'm just a regular old person. So now you say to yourself, why is the price of meat and the price of deodorant and the price of water and milk and bread and eggs, how come, and you know, eggs, they're killing off the chickens so that we have to supply and demand. So now what has happened and what's happening right now in our country, and just so you guys know, this was led by which industry? Let's see if you guys are as tuned in to what's been happening over the past couple of decades with capitalism in our country. What industry is the biggest price gougers in the entire world? There's one industry in particular. There's one industry in particular that price gouges the most. I'm talking, it is by far, it's not even remotely close. This industry rips off the people. And let's see if anybody knows. Nope, it's not Google, it's not healthcare. Pharmaceuticals is close, Aaron. Pharmaceuticals is close, but that's not it. Someone's missing it. You're getting close. Well, the IRS is a giant criminal organization after the 16th Amendment. But before, there it is right there, oil production, someone said. So the number one industry that gouges us the most, that rips off the American people the most, is the petroleum industry. Fossil fuels. That's the most gouging industry there is. So, depression hit. We've gone through so much since 2008. It's unbelievable. And so what the other industries saw was that the oil industry could rip us off in amazing proportions, where price would be $6, $7 a gallon, but they're making record profits. I mean, just so you guys know, Exxon, Mobil, Shell, all those companies, if you have 5 seconds and you put it into the search Bing, I don't want to promote the other one, Bing or DuckDuckGo, if you put that into your search bar, you will find that what I'm telling you is spot on fact. The oil industry rips off people around the world. It's absolutely incredible. So now what's happening is, so now go back to the very beginning. Go back to the very, very beginning. There you go. The very beginning is when there's just basic property ownership, and then DLZ Clips works for me, so he has status, and then you work under DLZ Clips, and so you create a class system based on how much money we know you're making, because I'm the owner of the house. I know how much I pay DLZ Clips, and then he knows how much he pays you, and so pretty soon that creates a class system based on how much money, how many goods you're taking home from your employment. So that's a pretty simple philosophy, right? So now what's happening today now is companies all over the country, and that's going to be your food companies. What are you're going to have Kraft, Nabisco, Kellogg's. You're going to have these. What's the big one? What's the big one? Hey Chevy, I can see. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. The big gigantic companies, what they're doing is, because they have the house and they have the goods, they have the raw materials. What they're doing is they're gouging us. They're ripping us off because they can get away with it, because there's absolutely no consumer protection agency in our government. There's no governance properly. And how do we know that? How do you know what I'm telling you right now is true? Well, let's go back to the Food and Drug Administration. The Food and Drug Administration in 1980, 89, somewhere in the 80s, the Food and Drug Administration changed the food pyramid to have 12 servings of carbohydrates. And they said that you're supposed to put insulin, you're supposed to put sugar in your body every 2 or 3 hours. Have a snack. That's going to rev your metabolism, is what they said. It's actually the opposite. That's a total lie. If you sit and put sugar, which is any kind of potato chip, pretzel, sandwich, anything that has carbohydrates in it of any level, once you put that into your mouth, your insulin is going to spike. And when there is insulin in your blood, your body cannot burn fat for fuel. So when you talk about that food pyramid of 12 servings of carbohydrates a day, what you're talking about is you constantly spiking your insulin because it has to counteract the sugar in your blood or you'll die, as we know from diabetics. So your body never goes into a fat burning zone. You're supposed to have at least 12 hours of zero sugar intake, zero calorie intake at all whatsoever, minimum of 12 hours. So the Food and Drug Administration was paid off by Kellogg's, Nabisco, every Kraft, all of those companies. So let me explain exactly what I mean by paid off. What happens in the food industry, the Food and Drug Administration, that's full of Kraft, Nabisco, Kellogg's executives, and it's an interchangeable job. They go from Kellogg's over to the FDA, and they're an executive in the FDA. Then they leave the FDA and they go back over to Kellogg's. It's really disgusting, really egregious. Daniel, I'm trying to paint an entire picture for you guys so you understand what's happening. What's happening in our country is the people who have resources, they are gouging us. They're gouging us. And I'm trying to explain how it works in great detail because, I didn't choose to be born with the memory that I have, but I remember everything. And I make mistakes sometimes. I'm not perfect, but I'm telling you guys how it works. The reason you go to the store and deodorant is $8, $9, $10 is because the company is gouging us, and there's no consumer protection agency. There's none. There's nothing for us. There's absolutely nothing for us. So that's what you're seeing happen. And so just so you guys know what I'm telling you is true, when they turn that food pyramid upside down, the exact opposite of what it should be, look what happened to America. America got dramatically obese. I went to high school in the late 80s and early 90s. We had a token overweight person. We had one or two overweight people in the group. So what happened? How come it is now that the fit person, now there's only one or two fit people in every group, but most of the people are fat? That's because the Food and Drug Administration created a food pyramid that taught people that you're supposed to have 12 servings of carbohydrates a day. Just so you guys know, I go weeks and months without having a single bite of a carbohydrate. Not a single bite of rice or oatmeal or any of that garbage. None of it. So you don't need carbohydrates at all. They were paid off. The FDA was paid off. So so what is the government doing to us? They're pricing us out of a fair existence. They're pricing us out of a decent life is what they're doing. And they're allowing I may lose you guys pretty soon. I may lose you guys. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm going somewhere and I'm doing something, so I can't really get into detail. As you guys know, I can't tell anybody what I do, so it is what it is. But just so I don't lose you guys, I just want you guys to understand that there's no protections for us. The government works for big business. The government works for big industry. They don't work for us at all anymore. What it is, if you go back to the history of time and you really have researched history in incredible detail, then what we're living through is a repeat of the Lochner era. The Lochner era is being repeated right now, and that's from 1899 until 1937. We're going through a repeat. Thanks, Mr. Waldo Baldo. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. We're living through time is repeating again right now. We're getting screwed. We're getting screwed, and the government is it's been hijacked. You know, I've read the founding documentations. I've read so much. You guys know this. And you know what? So if you read the Federalist Papers today, and you know what, maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll cover the Federalist Papers, chapter 1 or chapter 2, and we can listen to the ideology. So the Federalist Papers are a series of letters that are going to be published in periodicals, publications, newspapers, back after the Declaration of Independence is signed and right after the First Continental Congress of 1787. So the First Continental, so people will still cite the Declaration of Independence of 1776 as a year that those guys claimed independence from England, but that is not the document we live under at all whatsoever. There are very few parts of it that are even relevant today, other than we said, F you to England, we're leaving. And so all those men who signed their name on the Declaration of Independence, they put their lives on the line. So they wrote a constitution. And when you get to 1787, when you have, they had a different president back then. In 1787, they're gonna really write the Constitution that we know today. They scrapped everything they had been doing from 1776 till 7. They threw it all away. They threw it all away. I heard an amazing lecture the other day about this, and I should just let you guys hear that lecture that I listen. I listen to lectures constantly, and so they scrapped everything from the Declaration of Independence till 1787 First Continental Congress. Everything that we had written down as what America was going to be was scrapped, and they started over from zero. And so when that happened, by the time we get to the original ideas that James Madison had proposed, he lost faith in the idea of a centralized federal government. He went through some stuff, and you really learn a lot about James Madison when you read a guy named Noah Feldman. Noah Feldman has written several books on James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and so when we rewrite that Constitution and we get it to 1791, where we have a Constitution that the states can, the only reason that they're agreeing is because we have a common enemy in England, because the colonies did not, they're having, the only thing that united us was the war against England. So they scrapped it, and then we put together those Bill of Rights, and then the Bill of Rights are implemented, and then the Constitution is ratified in 1793. But those are the years that you really have to know. You have to know those years. Those are the important years. Because 1776, I see t-shirts everywhere with 1776. I guess it's kind of a proclamation to this dog crap government that we have, that we are free. That we are free. Hey, have you guys joined the new Instagram, DeleteLawz.ig? Make sure you go over to the Instagram. It's DeleteLawz.ig. And I got a new Instagram account, and thank God there's a human being who I want to say thank you to for helping me. I just came on and started talking on camera. I never planned on this many people coming, and I mean I knew that I guess I kind of knew what would happen once I started to really put it out there. But so we're getting gouged, we're getting screwed. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, Bruce, that hat that I sent you, that hat I bought special in Las Vegas. I went down to an embroidery place and I just had that hat made. Because ordering it from Teespring would have taken too long. You wouldn't have got the hat for weeks. So I actually went down to, what's going on? Good to see everybody. Kayla, Daniel, how you doing? Mr. Nichols, let's see. I'm going to teach Constitutional Law Scholar, and then you're more than welcome to chime in on those things. And the way I'm doing Constitutional Law Scholar is really cool. I'm doing it through a projector, and then at the same time I'm building the board game. So there's going to be a lot of things at the same time, but I won't be making as many videos because I'm going to have to take a focus and make sure that I really focus on teaching Constitutional Law Scholar. That's what I'm going to have to make sure that I do. So that's coming up. You got to lay down over there, Charlie. Sorry, buddy. I can't do all three things, man. You gotta lay over there. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Did everybody hit the like button? Has everybody hit the like button? Would you do me a favor just right now? What it does is it sends out to YouTube that you like the content that you're seeing and that you are participating in the channel. So if you guys would just pop down in the comment section, OTVO, Overturn Terry versus Ohio. So yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, and it always goes back to it, one of us has to get executive power. Somebody who's a good person that will implement the change for the people that has to be made. One of us has got, I don't care if it's me or if it's someone else. I would rather it was someone else. But if it's me, I'll make sure, when it's me, I'll make sure that I implement the changes that have to be made. We will get rid of the term law enforcers and we will go to peace officers. We will change the uniforms, we will demilitarize. As soon as I'm governor. The moment I'm governor, there'll be no more militarized cops. None. There'll be no more militarized cops. That'll come to an end immediately. Immediately. And there'll be a war I'll have with the sheriffs in the state that I'm in. There'll be a political war for sure, and hopefully they resign. But the people who are good, the good men and women, they will stay for the change, because a change is coming. A change is coming. I mean, so like, I don't know what you guys do when you wake up in the morning, but the first thing I do when first I do a cup of coffee. I've got to, so my boy Alan got arrested the other day, Alan Hubbs. Alan, we're going to do Alan and I've got there's 3 different cases I'm working on right now, 3 different people who have either had guns to their head, been arrested, or been tortured. It's unbelievable. There's 3 different cases I'm working on, and one of those is Alan Hubb. So Alan Hubb, we may need to do a fundraiser for him, and Deborah is overdue. We have to do a fundraiser for Deborah as well. She's been trying to call me, but I've just been so busy, you know. But I'm so close, man. I'm so close to being able to show you guys what I want to show you, and then it should jump. It should jump off. What I'm going to teach and what I'm going to show you guys is so dope. It's so dope, because then you guys will be a constitutional law scholar. You'll understand things that you never understood before. There's so many parts of history, you know. So I'll give a very simple one. You know, what's the difference between Enlightenment thinkers and thinkers that predated Enlightenment thinkers? What's the major? There's 3 or 4 major differences. You know, it's just for you to pop into to start to do your research and see if you can. I can't see that. I can't. I'm so sorry. Some of the words on my screen are all jumbled, so I can see some things coming through. Thanks for the super chats. I didn't see it. Yeah. So I can't read it. As long as we keep electing the sons or daughters of politicians, or we keep electing the richest guy or the richest girl, we're doomed. As long as we have people in office who care more about finding out about which stock they should be buying instead of how to lead people, we're screwed. As long as we keep on electing Republicans and Democrats and thinking that things are going to change. Well, Mr. C, it goes a little deeper than pre-Enlightenment thinkers were Catholic, and some of them were Protestant, by the way. So, and then if you want to go back to the foundation of Boston, you go back to Massachusetts, those are going to be Quakers, and so they weren't all Catholic. But one of the big major differences was the native or non-native thinking, or what's called innate thinking, or non-native thinking. And innate thinking is the idea that you are born with pre-programmed ideas, and that all that has to happen for you to tap into the pre-programmed ideas is someone has to tell you about it. And of course, the first one's going to be God. That people naturally know that God exists. And so then John Locke is going to come around, and this is the big battle between Descartes and Locke. You know, Rene Descartes is going to say that the belief in God, and that you believe in God, is innate in you. You're born with the idea that there's God and that you believe in this God. John Locke's going to come around and he's literally going to troll Descartes. He's going to troll him with his writings, and he's going to say that's not true, because that would mean that if it was innate, then you would ascend to it. Ascend would mean you would go to it. You would migrate towards that. The truth is ascended. So now John Locke, who I talk about all the time, he's an empiricist, and all data for him is going to be based on empirical knowledge. We did that, and Benjamin Franklin is one of these guys that proves that empirical data is more important than innate thinking. So there's a big battle here, but I'm going to break down who the Enlightenment thinkers are, what their social contracts were, and then the thinkers before them who were innate thinkers. And there's a whole list of different philosophers that I'm gonna cover to show you guys, so you can have a basis of understanding history. Because it's funny, when I get in a room of people and I start talking to them about history and asking them what they know or what they don't know, there's so many blank spots in people's minds because there's a dog crap education system in our country. I can't see any of the, I'm sorry, I can't see any of the chats now. Let me look on my other phone and see if I can read the chat, because it's okay, it came back in. I can see you guys again. So that's what's about to happen. I'm going to teach Constitutional Law Scholar, and I've been working on this super hard because you have to put together a whole lesson plan. It's a lot of planning and prepping and making sure that I have the right things. And then the way I'm going to teach it is so that it'll pop up on the wall one piece at a time, so that you can learn piece by piece. Because when I put all the pieces on the wall at a time, what happens is people get lost in all the information. And I know this because I did this in 2021. Hey, love you too, David. Thank you guys. Hit the like button. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. I haven't been able to, as you guys know, and boy, YouTube, because I'm not producing content all the time, DLZ Clips can tell you, YouTube is hammering us. I'm talking hammering us. Cut our finances by 70% in 3 weeks. Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, they cut the revenue 70% from this channel in 3 weeks. So, it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. But you know what? The big thing is that we just keep going. We just keep going. And we teach the people themselves individually. And you know what? This is funny, because a lot of the people who are detractors, a lot of people who I deal with, who are negative or were previously in the space, and I came around and said you're a great big dunce cap, right? Which they are. So those people, their ideology is that the people themselves should be empowered to be able to lead themselves. However, they didn't do the reading. Unfortunately, that's not how humanity works. Humanity works the way human beings work, is based on leaders and followers, strong and meek. That's how the world is set up. And for those who are strong and powerful, this is what virtue is. When those who are weak or meek need your help, are you so busy being strong and powerful that you forget about the weakest and those who can't do for themselves? And that's what a lot of people, and from my perspective, a lot of people who try to do what I do, but they don't. And a lot of people who do similar things that I do, they're so busy being strong and powerful that they forget to go back and help the people whose videos they used, whose content they took, whose lives they broadcast. They made all that money from the YouTube video, but they didn't go back and help the person who sent them the video and said, help me. They helped themselves, but they didn't help the person. So that's what makes us different. That's what makes us stand out. So, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, guys. I haven't called out any super chats. I guess I do it different. I have learned this now. A lot of people read super chats at the end. They do all these things. I don't do any of those things. Look, I love all of you. there is a mission here. And every single second that I don't spend working on changing the system is a second that the system persists. And for me, it's unacceptable. This system is not sustainable. It's disgusting. The other night, just so you guys know, I got a video coming out. I ran into these cops in Vegas, and yo, what's up, Eyes Wide Open? How you doing, buddy? And the cops had stopped this guy the other night, and when I came up and was filming them, you guys have not seen the video yet. Thank you, James. The guy who they had pulled over was clearly drunk. My job is to film cops and hold them accountable if they hurt, rape, kill somebody, hold them accountable by getting the video footage of that. When I came up on the stop the other night, within 5 seconds, it took a little longer, it took 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but by the time I assessed the situation, I could clearly see that the guy who was driving that they had stopped was blah, 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 blah. You know, he was wasted. I don't want to ruin his court case or anything, but he was wasted. And so now the cops have got him. Now the methods of torture cuffing him, the methods of punishing him when there's no victim, even though he could have got a victim. And then, by the way, I spout out what I think the solution should be, so I'm not going to ruin that. But the cops who had him, the torture cuffs always hurt, but the cops who had him weren't abusing him, aside from torturing him with the torture cuffs, putting him in that tiny little claustrophobic cage in the back seat, treating him like he's a horrible human being. But I don't... People who are detractors will come here and say, oh, you just spiked the cops to get them all fired up so you can have a fight with them. The cops didn't say anything to me harsh. To be honest with you, I appreciate you guys watching it because it's pretty boring. I mean, I say some pretty funny things because I'm the way I am, but I didn't have anything really negative to say. I mean, I explained to the cops that what they were doing was torture, but I don't have, for the detractors, I didn't say, oh, well, your mama's a pig, to try to spike the cop to get him to have a reaction with me. It's so funny. DLZ Clips and I talked about this. I don't do any of those things. I wait until the cop decides he's gonna try to claim dominion over me, over my person, over my fingers, over my head, which way I can look, if I can speak. And once that happens is when I unload on them. But as you guys saw from the conversation I had with James LaRosa the other day, I let him know, how do you think you're a good person with what you do to people? But he did say or do anything horrifically mean to me. I'm not saying he hasn't tortured people. I'm not saying he hasn't abused people. He was saying a bunch of lies. He was sitting there lying. Sounded good. He was lying. Cops are not held accountable. He's a supervisor, so that means he's held no cops accountable. When I asked him, how many cops have you fired? He said 0. So a lot of lies, but it sounded good. But I can't sit there and tell the guy, you're lying, even though he was lying. James, you were lying, bro. Oh, and make sure you guys subscribe to that backup channel, DLZ Clips. DLZ Clips is Colin. He's over there working hard. He's working hard to try to get some revenue on that channel because he's got to make a living too. And, but so for people who come to the channel to watch me destroy cops, listen, I only destroy cops if they deserve it. But I don't do that. I don't just pick the fight with the cop just so that I can get some footage. I just have a regular conversation with the piggy and claim dominion over me, tries to overstep his authority. That's when I let him have it. But I'm not gonna go out and just antagonize piggies so that I can get footage on YouTube. I'm not gonna do it. That's not what I am. And unfortunately, I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna be doing less audits because I'm working on something else right now, constitutional law scholar, so I can teach you guys how to be a constitutional law scholar. And so now the conversation comes full circle. Someone says I never finished my thoughts. Now it comes full circle. So some of my detractors in the who do similar things that I do, you know, they are firm believers that you should be a constitutional law scholar and you should take responsibility for your actions and the cops' actions, and you should do these things. So I'm going to give you guys the tools and show you what I studied and what I learned, because I often will get people who will say to me, where do I start, Chille? Where do I start? How do I learn what you learned? How do I get there so that I have the knowledge at the tip of my fingertips? So that's my goal in teaching Constitutional Law Scholar. And I'm going to make t-shirts up that say Constitutional Law Scholar. You know, I'm really amazed that so many people don't know their rights. Yeah, kinetic customs, and just so you guys know, I can't take any, I have severe ADHD, and I can't take any kind of medications because of my blood pressure. I can't take no medications. So, you know, it's a bitch. It really is. It's a bitch. You know, I've tried every kind of medication there is for ADHD. When the Adderall first came out, I couldn't stand it. I tried it. I hated it because it made me feel speedy and like I was on some sort of chemical. And then after they refined the Adderall, I got it down to where I would take 10 milligrams in the morning. 10 milligrams, if you're not familiar with Adderall, it's a pinch. Most people do between 30 to 100 grams of Adderall a day. I was doing 10 milligrams of Adderall a day. When my blood pressure went crazy, I can't take any kind of pill that could stimulate my heart. So I've had, you know, I'm building something right now. I'm building Constitutional Law Scholar, and my ADHD, it's so hard. It is so hard. It is so hard. Well, you know, I'm not a doctor, so I can't go into how the chemicals break down in people's brains for people who actually have ADHD. But from what I was educated, from what the doctor told me, was that what Adderall does for me compared to as you guys can see, I have severe ADHD. I don't know if I finished all my thoughts. I'm sorry if I didn't, but I go from one topic to the next extraordinarily quickly. And so, you know, and just so you know, when I was studying and learning constitutional law, when I really went crazy over the pandemic, that's when I mean, because I had been studying all these different cases for so long, and then when the pandemic came around, I locked down, man, and I just started. Yeah, I'm off all meds, Peyton. I don't take any medication at all whatsoever. I don't take blood pressure medication. I don't take Adderall. I smoke weed now and then, but I don't take any kind of medication. Nothing. I don't take Tylenol. I take multivitamins. I take some multivitamins, but I'm not. You know, the thing that scared me was, number one, my weight was too high. When my blood pressure went bananas is when I was dealing with a lot of adversity from life. My car getting stolen, being in a place I didn't know anybody, being attacked by random people, just strange things were happening. And so then with my knee injury and going through personal strife, I gained, you know, 40 or 50 pounds. I was up around I was 190 when I was training for that exhibition. And then from 190 in August, I got up to 230 pounds in December. Now I'm down to 207. And you guys saw when I shot wide angle, I was so wide myself. I was so overweight. And now I'm back to an acceptable weight, but I still won't take I won't take any Adderall, and I won't take any kind of I won't take blood pressure medication. I'm not taking anything. I'm not gonna do it. I'm 48 years old, so I don't want to take a pill that helps me temporarily, but then at the end of the day, it destroys my liver or it kills me. No, Jordan, I'm not gonna fight the pig in the cage. Look, I would, you know, it's so funny you asked that. DLZ Clips and I were talking about that last night. For us to transcend, for me to lead, I have to let my ego go. I have to let it go. I mean, I told DLZ Clips yesterday, that fight would have taken about 15 seconds. I have to let that go. That's a part of my past. I'm now going to be 50 years old in the next couple years. I've got to let the younger men have those fist fights. Let the younger in their 20s and 30s, let them get in the cage, and me do my role as a elder statesman. You know, no, I'm not being sued by anybody. I haven't done anything to be sued by anybody. So, I mean, anybody can sue you anytime they want, but I'm actively suing a lot of people. There's a lot of people. I'm suing a lot of people right now. I'm suing. Let me count how many people. I can see it's yellow, but it won't let me read it. Let me open up my other phone and let me see if I can read what people are saying in the chat, because I don't want to ignore anybody. I want to read what you're saying, especially if you guys are sending me a super chat. I want to read it. I don't want anybody to think I'm not reading their chat. I'm not doing that. Let me turn this bad chicken down. Okay, there you go. I can read on this one. So no, the amount of people that I'm suing right now. So I think I'm suing 8 people out of Ohio. I'm suing 4 or 5 people in Massachusetts. I'm suing 5 people, 6 people in Nevada. I'm suing at least 5 people in California who are being served summons now. And there's some people who are hiding from their summons on the East Coast. They're hiding from being served. They won't be able to get away with it. So, you know, I think I said this to y'all. Tom, I got a self-driving car, so I don't really even have to touch the steering wheel. So, yeah, the car, just so everybody knows, this car does all of its own stuff. I don't have to push the brake or the gas. I have to touch the steering wheel about every 15 or 20 seconds, but the car will brake if anything in front of me is braking. Yeah, so anyway, you know, I told people this last summer, I said, look, you can harass me, you can do all kinds of things to me, but I'll sue you if you affect me in a negative way. And I warned them. I warned people. I warned some people for 6 months. Hey, I'm gonna sue you. It's gonna cost you a lot of money. And my goal is not to sue them so that it costs them a lot of money. That's not my only goal. Yes, I want to tax their ass as they're being sued, of course. They deserve it. But I want to win the lawsuits, which all of my lawsuits are still ongoing. There's no lawsuit that's been dismissed, not a single one. No, let me correct myself. In Ohio, when I sued KNOW, who defamed me, I eventually would tie that to the Cincinnati federal lawsuit, KNOW, which I don't even know if I kept them attached because they defamed me, but that's all mainstream media. All the lying mainstream media will torch anybody who's not going to fall in line to the Republican, Democrat, duopoly, monopoly. Anybody who's outside of the Republican, Democrat duopoly, the media works for the Democrats and they work for the Republicans. So it's going to be really hard to win on a third-party ticket, but I will win. I will win. I was at the gym earlier today, and I was at this gym, and when I was at the gym, someone passed me. WOWK, is that what it is, Chosen? Thank you. And someone passed me in the gym and said, yeah, it's $402 for each lawsuit that I filed, and a lot of y'all in here have helped me crowdfund that, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So, but I want to stay on this path just for 1 second. A lot of people talk a lot of trash. That's fine. You can say anything you want about me. But if I tell you that I'm going to sue you and that you have caused damages to me and that I'm going to come after you through the court system, that's exactly what I'll do. I will sue your ass in 2 seconds flat. Because, like I said, I'm almost 50 years old. I can't go around punching people out. I never have done that. Well, after 25. Before 25, I was in lots and lots of fights. But after 25 years old, I swore all that off. So, you know, look, it is what it is. And for the coppers who want to target me, you can do whatever you want. But if I come out alive, you'll get sued. And eventually the story will come out. And that's, you know, and just so you guys know, there's one guy I'm suing. And I'm suing the guy to get to the depositions. Because when I depose this piece of garbage and the lies he said, I can't wait for people to see his deposition tapes and then see the contrast of other people testifying and saying, that's not true. So I don't care if I win a dime from that loser, but I can't wait for those depositions and tape to show what an actual fraud the dude is, like a full-on fraud. And that's what you know, just like we expose bad cops, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm exposing bad people. You know, and oh, by the way, let me clear something up for everybody. In November, I pulled over on the side of the road for California Highway Patrol, and I filmed them. And then a fake ticket was created that they stated that those cops gave me a ticket on the side of the road. The people who created that fake ticket, you're getting sued. I finally got you. Yes, I finally got you. Because I had to go through so much to get my DMV record, but I finally got my DMV record. The cops in California, the Highway Patrol, they never gave me a ticket. We know who created the fake ticket. It's not true. I did not get ticketed. When I pulled over, and the video is called Dumb and Dumber, there's the picture of the two pigs, and I put Dumb and Dumber on the thing. It's like November 16th, about there. Between November 13th and November 18th, somewhere in there is the video. You can find the video. It says Dumb and Dumber on it. So anyway, not only did someone create a fake ticket for me that's not real, they then gave it to another YouTuber who purported it to be fact. That's defamation, bro. That's defamation. You are getting sued, bro. Call your lawyer. Get your $5,000 ready. You created a fake ticket, bro. And by the way, it doesn't matter what country you live in. You created a fake ticket. We know where the source of the ticket came from. Got you, bro. Got you, you fucking troll piece of shit. Got you, bro. Because, you know, at the end of the day, listen, they have to hire an attorney. I'm just saying. So, well, but for all y'all, what y'all don't have to deal with some of the nonsense I have to deal with because I put myself out in front. But until we change this system, we're screwed. Until you're gonna, and me too, I'm gonna continue to spend $9 or $10 on deodorant. I'm gonna continue to spend so much money on just nonsense because they're ripping us off. They're gouging us, and there's no protection agency. And whatever state I'm governor in, and I'm not gonna tell you where I'm gonna run for governor yet, but whatever state I'm governor, I'm gonna put a consumer protection agency in there, and it'll affect the entire country. You won't be able to rip us off anymore. You won't be able to rip us off because I'll put a consumer protection agency in the state of which I'm governor, and it then will go national. Other governors around, because when you take all the money from the people, then there's no more resources. And they're gouging us. The water company, every company there is gouging us. You know, I saw a video the other day where a woman walked into the supermarket and she was laying out how many types of different waters there were. There was flavored water, flat water, sparkling water, bubbly water, and the entire shelf was filled with water that you and I pay for. Water is a human right. You have a right to get water. You should not have to pay money for water. The governments that claim to uphold the natural rights of the people in the country, that is a government function. They need to pay for it, and disperse it properly. So many things that you've seen through your life that have never gotten better. They've never gotten fixed. And let me just tell you why. Okay, that just came through. Let me see. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. This phone's not showing it. This phone is showing it, but I can't see on this phone the chats. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you. There's so many things that you have seen throughout your life that if there was an executive in charge of your state or this country, it wouldn't be the way they are. Did you know that? Water is one of them. Internet is one of them. Do you know in South Korea, they have internet there and it is 1,000 times better than ours? Did you know that? How come it is that we're the number one, well, actually we're number two now, China now, their GDP just passed our GDP, gross domestic product value. So I think our GDP was 30 trillion, 30.1 trillion. I haven't seen the numbers lately. I'm just going off my memory from what I saw about 9 months ago. The last I checked, our GDP was around 30.1 trillion or 31.1 trillion. And then China had just passed our GDP and they're doing like a trillion more or half a trillion more than, or was it 1/10 of a trillion, which is $100 billion. So just so you know, but we are the most industrial, you know, just if you guys don't watch, global politics according to Peter Zeihan, Zeihan, I think his name is. I watch him all the time. If you watch him, he kind of gives you a better perspective. And I definitely, because I'm a constitutional law guy, the other things I'm sharing with you guys are just stuff that interests me, so I just read it. But you know, we are the most industrialized country in the world. You know, especially high-end industry and mid-industry. We are the grand poobah, and we could be number one energy exporter, number one energy. We should be those things, but we're not, because we have absolute dog shit leadership. You know, here in Nevada, just so you know, Nevada could power the entire United States. Did you know that? Elon Musk has I have the clip saved. I'll show it to you. Elon Musk said we could take 100 miles of Nevada, 100 miles, 1 mile wide, and power the entire country for houses and porches and sheds. Power the entire country. So how come it doesn't happen? Because the oil industry, well, first they'll try to kill me if I do it. They'll try to kill anybody who tries to create a solar farm big enough to power all of America. The people within the oil industry may hire mercenaries to kill you, even if you're governor. Because if we built 100 miles of solar power here in Nevada, the people, the gas and oil companies would sabotage it, attack it, try to kill the people who implement it. The oil industry is the most price gouging, garbage people industry you've ever could understand. Let me explain to you how much money Saudi Arabia, let me explain something. Saudi Arabia has a government. The government is not in charge in Saudi Arabia. Not at all. The oil families, the princes and the kings and the royalty, the queens, they run Saudi Arabia. And they have a military bigger than the Saudi Arabian military. They have people that work for them. And just so you know, the Saudi Arabian princes and kings, they have more money than they can ever spend. They say that there are trillions of dollars being stashed in Saudi Arabia. Because when the family, it's just like the Federal Reserve Bank here in America. The Federal Reserve Bank is owned by families. And some people will say it's the Rockefellers. We don't even know who it is anymore because so many people have died and came in and out of power since J.D. Rockefeller, who's going to die. And I think, what year is he going to die? He starts Standard Oil right after slavery. He starts Standard Oil. I think he starts Standard Oil in 1863. I believe that he started Standard Oil in 1863. So he's about 20 then. He lives to be 90, 25 or something like that. Was he 30? I can't remember. so if we know that, what year does he die? Does he die in around 19? I want to say around 37, right around the Marijuana Tax Act. But so anyway. J.D. Rockefeller. Could you imagine that though? If Nevada or Utah or New Mexico or Arizona picked a 100-mile strip out and built 100 miles of solar power, and it powered the entire country, and we finally got to put a chip, a rock, a dink, a chink in the armor against the oil industry, because they work against us. They work against us. The oil industry, the gas I put in the car, the people who sell the gas, they don't want you and me to have any kind of good life. They don't want that. They don't want it. They don't want it. They want your money, and that's all they want. That's all they want. They just want your money. Deborah, I was talking about you earlier. I think we're due for a fundraiser for Deborah. We got to raise her another $300. So we got a fundraiser coming up for Deborah here in the next few days. Maybe when I'm parked over here, where I'm going to. Beautiful, huh? Beautiful. Good to see you, Deborah. Sorry I haven't given you a call back yet. I've had my head up my own business. I've had my head up my business here for the past, I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed I don't make nearly as many videos. I'm not doing nearly as much on this channel. And YouTube's noticed too. YouTube noticed as well. And they said, oh, you're not doing lives every day anymore? Let's take away your wallet. Maybe you'll come back and do some lives. Let's just take Chille's wallet, see if he comes back and does some lives every day on YouTube. So I will. I'll do it again. It just takes time. It just takes time. Anyway, I hope I finished any of my thoughts today, but someone pointed out my ADHD was flying today, so I apologize. And if you have any questions from this particular video, just drop them in the comment section below so that I can answer them. And I'm going to answer a lot of the things that I said when I teach Constitutional Law Scholar. So when that comes out, a lot of the things I said today will be addressed. It's the magic hour right now. It's beautiful. The sun is setting, so you're getting refraction from light that's shooting horizontally, vertically. Really cool. Really cool. They used to call it they call it the golden hour, but I believe that it's called a blue light shoot. You might want to look that up. It's called a blue light shoot. And in California, they call it the golden hour, and that's right when the sun comes up in the morning or goes down at night. And that is where light is refracting from multiple different angles, including horizontally. So you're going to get light on every part of your, when you see that, you get light on every part of your face because it's shooting, the light is refracting from every different direction. That's why it's called the golden hour or a blue light shoot. So weird. I mean, just so you guys know, when I was young, I thought, when I was a young man, I thought I would grow up and be a fighter. But then when I started fighting a lot, I didn't enjoy beating people up. And so the fact that I'm a brain is a little weird for me. I didn't plan on, I didn't know I was smart. So now I know to be, I guess. It's a weird thing to be as a personality for people who come on and listen, that I just have this, it's really strange. And anybody who knows me my whole life, if you had said in high school that later Chille's going to grow up and he's going to be a talking head with just the amount of knowledge he has in his brain, nobody would have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. So it's a little strange. The whole process of becoming known on social media has been really strange for me. Well, I mean, because the powers that be are terrified of me, I've had a lot more adversity. And because the people in my space are afraid that I'll take over their position, I've had a lot more adversity. So I've had to fight both people who are supposed to be on the side of justice and people who work for within the state. So, and let me just say this, and then I'll get out of here. If you see an icon, on here, like here's Press with Rancor, we know who Press with Rancor is. But if you see an icon and it's unrecognizable, and then the name says like Dip Low, then you know that is a state actor or railroaded this person, literally took in their nightstick and shoved it down their throat. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then you'll see a comment in there. It'll say, the cop warned him that he was going to get a nightstick down the throat. And all the comments will be like, what are you doing? Go to hell, right? That's a state actor. They're all over YouTube. They're all over Facebook. So just remember, when you listen to the breakdown of the Twitter files, the FBI put an entire facility of FBI agents inside Twitter headquarters. The same thing is happening at YouTube, at Facebook, at Instagram. It's across all social media. All social media. There are state actors working within this application right here, right now. And the reason why we just got a giant shadow ban for the past 3 weeks and they cut our money by 70%, we're becoming too popular. They can't have someone who's against Republicans and Democrats become too popular. What if they start a movement for a third party? That'll mess up all the fake media. All the fake media is bought by Republicans and Democrats. So anyway, with that being said, I'm losing the light. I'm losing the light. Cool, whatever, right on. Well, listen, I'm not perfect, so I will make mistakes, but for the most part, everything I tell you is as honest and truthful as I can be. That's just the way it is. Because if you like me or don't like me, I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm on a mission. And you can come along for the mission or you can F off. I'm on a mission. I'm going to change this system and I can only do it with your help. So I'm super grateful that you guys come and let me talk and give me my time. I appreciate it. I'll let you guys know where I'm running for governor in the next year. I pretty much know. I pretty much have my head and my heart planned. So I know what I'm going to do here, but you know, it's a grind. It is a grind. So we don't stop. OTVO. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for coming and letting me speak for an hour. I'm a little over an hour now and it's getting dark, so I'll get the flock out of here. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm sorry I couldn't see a lot of them, but I mean, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys buying my products, super chats. Some of you guys send me PayPals and Cash Apps. I tell you, I really wouldn't make it without you. I really would not. I would have had to quit. If it wasn't for one or two particular supporters in August, I would have folded in August. I would have gone under because YouTube had blanked me again. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I got this position, and I give you my word, we don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop until the system is changed. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.